What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Anthony, Long Island Fish Guy here, and on today's video, we're going to be going over this 15-gallon Fluval Flex aquarium. We're going to be covering everything I kind of did to set up this aquarium. I really set this aquarium up specifically for my spotted Congo puffer. This is a freshwater puffer fish. It is extremely personable, and I've come to absolutely adore and love this fish. This is my office tank setup. I work here in this room. I'm here for probably anywhere between 40 to 60 hours a week. I edit YouTube videos here. I do everything basically in this room. So it's a tank I really like to spend a lot of time in front of, and I wanted to make sure that it's really set up nice and personable for me to kind of interact a little bit more with the fish. The three major things we're gonna be looking at is the fish that are in this aquarium, the actual aquarium itself, and then the plants. I myself, I'm not a plant expert, guys. I'm kind of learning this a little bit, but I really did learn a lot, and it's pretty awesome, kind of the plant experience, right? I'm already having a pretty good experience. I do know a lot of you guys out there do also like the community type fish. So this tank is basically full of them. This tank has a lot of community fish in it, and I plan on actually coming out with like a species highlight / care guide for all of the fish actually in this aquarium. So if you guys do like this video, be sure to like the video. And if you're not subscribed to my channel already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any other content that I want to come out with for this tank. So the first fish I do want to highlight is that spotted Congo puffer fish. That is basically, like I said, the fish that basically I created this tank for. The storyline for this fish was basically my friend Joe, which a lot of you guys do know on this channel. He was at Monster Aquarium in Queens. He came across this fish and he bought it for me. He picked it up for me. I gave him the money for it. And I got it. And I really kind of wanted to make sure I have a good home for this guy. Freshwater puffer fish are actually extremely intelligent. So the Schoutedeni Spotted Congo Puffer, as well as the Mabu puffer fish, they're very intelligent and they'll actually interact with their owners. This fish actually does swim up the glass with me and really interacts with me a lot throughout the day. Or it could just want a lot of food, I'm not sure. This fish, like I said, is really the highlighted fish. It's the fish I really wanted to build everything around. But this fish really can't be just alone. It needs some other fish to go with it, to kind of bring out some of its personality. So I thought neon tetras. Neon tetras are kind of, I would feel like the staple of like the freshwater community fish. It's also a relatively small fish to go into a 15-gallon aquarium. So I said, heck, why not? They're a big community fish and I definitely do enjoy keeping them. It's really awesome, kind of like what they do for the aquarium. They're really great dither fish in this specific aquarium. They really contrast well with the green plants, the brown driftwood, and the white background. The third grouping of fish I do have in this aquarium is actually Sterbai Corydoras. I've had many different types of Corydoras in the past. Some that are, $3 bronze cories to like $40 Skiller Max's Barbatus. Now that's a mouthful. And I really wanted to go with a really awesome looking Corydoras for this one. There was a lot of thought that kind of went into the stocking into this aquarium, and I wanted to have fish that really stand out or contrast from something else. So for instance, the neon tetras, they're blue, they're red, but then we also have these Corydoras that are kind of black and gold. Every morning when I turn on the lights, when I kind of start my day at work, like I said, this tank was made for the spotted Congo puffer, but it's so awesome to see these Corydoras every morning. They like kind of get together in a group and swim up and down the glass together, kind of like saying good morning to everyone in the tank. And then they'll kind of go in the back and hide for the rest of the day. The fourth fish I do have in here, which also won't be in here long term due to the size that they do get, is I do have a pair of super red bristlenose plecos. I got these guys when they were tiny. I'm talking like almost fry level. I actually got 5 of them. Only 2 made it. I bought them at a local fish club actually, and they died. I bought, like I said, I think I bought 5 and 3 almost died instantly when I first got them. It just so happens a male and a female survived, and they're still relatively small. They're probably about 2 to 3 inches or so. Long term though, I'll probably remove them and move them into a bigger aquarium, and then I'll probably end up getting like something like a rubber lip Pleco. If you guys do have any questions regarding the stocking, or do you have any comments about any of the stocking I do have in this aquarium, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. Next up, let's talk about the tank, the Fluval Flex 15 gallon. I already did cover a little bit of this tank in that unboxing video, but I've now had this tank for about a month now. First up, I want to talk about the overall size of this aquarium and like the dimensions. It's a bow front, but it's not like your typical bow front that goes from like left to right. It goes up to down the way that it bows. This tank has a feeling of being like a 20 gallon high. It's pretty large feeling. The filter on this thing is an absolute beast. It's pretty standard among like a lot of fluval aquariums, kind of having like that sump, like that built-in sump in the back of it. And it's really awesome, guys. It's got the mechanical filtration covered inside the sponge. It's got 2 spots for media. It's a really good filter. It's a really good motor, and I really have no complaints about it. Now, the lighting on here is essentially the Fluval Aquasky LEDs. Instead of it being controlled with an app, though, that you would on your phone, it's controlled with this. It's a remote control. It's basically the only downside I would say about this entire tank. The bigger aquarium, the 32, I think, or 34 gallon aquarium, that's actually controlled with your app. It's the same way that you would control your Aquasky LEDs. The smaller ones, this 15 gallon as well as the 9 gallon is controlled with this. So there's nothing to really be programmed. You can't even actually put it on a timer because you actually physically need to hit the on button in order to turn on the lights. It's the one downside, but the lights are super powerful. We're gonna get into the plants in a little bit, but I actually do have some plants in here that require a decent amount of light, and they're actually growing in the aquarium. Now, the way I set up the aquarium is I picked up this nice big piece of driftwood, and I didn't even have this tank in mind. I don't know about you guys, but anytime I go into a fish store and I see driftwood that I like, I buy it. Even if I have nothing in mind, I say that's a really great piece, I'll use it somehow. That's what this was, and it's really the perfect piece for this aquarium. I'm really happy that I do have it. This tank overall is like a 1.0 build right now, and I can definitely see this thing kind of flourishing a little bit as the plants grow, as well as maybe I get some more materials that might be added into the aquarium. This is a pretty big piece of driftwood, but it provides a lot of little nooks and crannies for the fish to hide inside of if they do need it. For the substrate, I went with the Carib Sea Eco Complete. I was considering going with the Fluval brand, Fluval Stratum, but I've actually tried using it in the past and it was just so frustrating to me. I just don't like the aspects of it being dirt and it got all muddy. I just really didn't enjoy it. I did a little bit of further research and I saw this Carib Sea Eco Complete. I really love the tank that I looked at and a lot of the other different tanks I saw online with it. I knew that I needed to actually go ahead and use it, and to be honest with you guys, I'm loving it. Speaking of substrate, let's talk about the plants that are actually going into the substrate. I'm really not a big plant guy. I never was. I did have a planted aquarium slightly about 2 or 3 years ago in my 29 gallon aquarium. Essentially all it had was a few Amazon swords in it. I called it a planted aquarium. I never really did anything like this before. So right now what I have in there is I have wisteria, which I actually just recently trimmed up, probably too much, but hey, I'm a plant rookie. I didn't know how much to cut or whatnot. I also have this red sword. I'm not exactly sure the name, but it's a type of sword plant, but it's a little bit on the red side. It's a melon sword maybe? I'm not too sure. Also, there's a micro sword in there, which I actually had in the past before. There's also some Java fern I put in the aquarium. It's relatively small right now, and I did plant it inside the substrate. I know that I could maybe connect it to the piece of driftwood a little bit later on, but we'll see how we feel about that later. The one cool thing I did put in this aquarium is that Monte Carlo. I know that Monte Carlo does need a little bit extra light, but like I said, it's growing pretty well. Also, this tank does have some cyanobacteria. We're not going to go into what cyanobacteria is here on this video, but this tank does have it in here. I heard a bunch of different ways how you can actually treat your tank for cyanobacteria. One way, which is definitely not a common or popular way, is I'm actually treating it with Seacam Paragard. This is like a blended type chemical that you could use to treat many different types of things. I love using Paragard. It treats ick, it treats velvet, it treats bacterial infections, fungal infections, and I'm currently using it to treat the cyanobacteria, and I'm already seeing a little bit of success with it. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I am new at this. Cyanobacteria is not something I am used to, handling or really managing ever, so we'll see how I do. If you guys do have any suggestions on what to do with cyanobacteria, drop a comment in the comment section below. I definitely would like to hear some of your advice. If you guys do want to see the fish spotlight that I do kind of want to create for all the fish inside this aquarium, be sure to let me know in the comment section below as well. I definitely want to create that type of content for you if that is what you want to see. Overall, I'm really excited about this aquarium, guys. It kind of came out exactly the way I kind of envisioned it and wanted it to be. It's just such an awesome tank to have right next to me throughout the day, and also kind of brings me like a little bit of like an uplifting spirit almost, kind of like looking over at the pufferfish and seeing how it kind of interacts. It's just such a really incredible fish. But that's gonna be it for this video. So if you guys did like this video, be sure to subscribe, check out some of the other content here on my channel, ding that notification bell if you already subscribed, but most importantly, don't forget to fish on.